Hello folks, Reverend Crystal Cox here, Goddess Church, Port Townsend. bbgoddesschurch@gmail.com if you'd like to donate to our nonprofit or to assist us in helping Michael Ullman to get his dog back. Okay, so today is Monday. I believe it's the 21st. No, Friday's the 26th, right? So last where we left off, which was yesterday, because now we're getting updates. You know, I got the 20, 21. Oh, maybe it's the 20. Anyway, I don't know what date it is. Okay, it's Monday after the 20th. Okay, so Michael had a miracle, right? So really, really good news, or not. He has someone that can loan the money. $2,500, right? For the homeless extortion thing. Hey, you know what's a good marketing strategy? Extorting the homeless. Center Valley Vet, right? Wendy, I think it's Davis, the officer in my last letter, the person who first found the dog, or the spirit animal woman, and who are there other prominent people, they really thought that he couldn't come up with the money. Of course, how in the world could he? Unless it was a miracle from God, right? From Goddess. They didn't think he would be able to come up with the money. So what they did is they send him a letter and they basically tell him they're going to adopt the animal out. They're going to put the dog down. You know, I read the laws to you. They did not give him a remedy. They did not follow that law. Okay? There'll be a link in this video to the blog post with all of the updates as we've run along in this whole story, including my interviews with Michael. Okay? The city of Port Townsend, I feel, has violated Michael's rights. They stole his property. I believe they're involved in a civil conspiracy and can be sued under the civil conspiracy laws with Center Valley Vet, the city of Port Townsend, perhaps the county, and everyone else involved that we'll find out at some point. So they go and get your animal. Your animal gets, your dog, whatever, gets away at the dog park, and they take it to a vet. And then they make you pay the vet. So their choice of vet may have something wrong with it, may not. Really high prices. You're homeless. And then they charge you $2,500, or they keep or destroy your dog or adopt it out. Okay? Now, the idea of adopting it out probably is some prominent person can pay the $2,500 and they get to keep the dog. Screw the homeless guy, right? Who cares? Mental health? Service dog? His family member? Who cares, right? There is no way the city of Port Townsend, Wendy Davis, Center Valley Vet, all these people involved, thought that he'd be able to come up with that money. I didn't think he would. I was pretty down about it. Right? The vet could donate the money. Everybody knows the story. But they blame the messenger, me. They blame Michael, right? They got an axe to grind. I was downtown Port Townsend a few years back with a friend of mine. And there was two dogs jumped out of a truck, running all over town, nipping at people. We saw a lady cop. I don't remember if it was Wendy. And the gal I was with went and told the cop what was going on. And she went down there, and I'm not sure what she did exactly. But she went down to where, like, we told her where the original truck was. And then, I don't know, it was like 20 minutes later, a half hour, the truck went by. And the dogs were back in it in the front and stuff. It had been running around town about an hour, hour and a half, screwing with everybody, messing with things. The dogs went right back to the person, even though it was actually harming people. I've been at North Beach with dogs running around. Down there at Point Hudson, I've been attacked by dogs. The same friend had to help me. H.J. Carroll Park, I was there one time watching a soccer game, and this dog come at me and started nipping at me, just wandering around. I have a lot of these stories of dogs around Port Townsend, and if the cops are involved or someone's around, where they just get it back to the owner, they're like, "Hey, your dog's here." So you see on Port Townsend buy, sell and stuff, oh, this dog or this cat's missing, right? And so-and-so's like, oh, we found it, we can help you out. But if you're homeless and got no money and they got an axe to grind, they're not going to help you out. You can't be like, oh, my dog's missing, where did it go? He just got out of the yard. Nope, your dog's at large, you're evil, and we're going to take it wherever we want to whatever vet, even if they charge you $1 million, and we're going to make you pay it or destroy your dog and take your dog away from you as a homeless person that needs the dog for mental support and to stay warm, and it's your only family and everything in your life. And we're going to extort you, which is what Center Valley Vet is doing. They could donate that. They're forcing their services on you, and I think it's illegal. And I think Michael's rights have been violated. If you're an attorney and you have the balls to sue the city and the county, Wendy Davis, personally and professionally, other people involved in Center Valley Vet, everybody involved, this is not legal advice. This is just what I would do. And I will be getting Michael as much information as I can and doing fundraisers this spring to help him to pay that money back. I'll tell you more about what's going on with that in a minute. These guys are pretty creepy, right? So you think about all the things going on in Port Townsend, and you think about the death at the fairgrounds, and people freezing to death in tents, and people hungry, and all the businesses shut down, and just so many things going on now. And this is what they focus on? This guy's dog, is this important? Center Valley Vet? Like, this homeless guy's dog is their vendetta? I get it. I've seen people. It's a lot of times they have other emotional trauma and programs, and they can't really, they choose to help a dog. They go out of their way to assist dogs, and in this case, for some reason here, and it's probably this way other places too, but the dog is more important than the human every time in this particular situation. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why couldn't they, or why couldn't OLICAP, or why couldn't some of these do-gooders just pay the original, okay, so the cops were called, and they knew how to notify Michael, right? We have proof of that. But it was these prominent people and these ninnies, and they don't got nothing else to do, apparently, that wanted some sort of a vendetta against him, needed a cause. Maybe the lockdown's depressing them, all this COVID stuff and all this stuff in the world, and they needed a cause. And their cause ended up, trying to ruin this guy's life, destroy his family, his everything that's good and pure and wonderful to him, right? Why this? All the things you could be doing, and why? It's never going to go away. I'm going to report on all parts of this, and I guarantee I will create the money at some point during some sort of fundraiser to sue everybody involved. I read the letter out to you guys. They said they had to give him a remedy in a feasible amount of time. It's been 3 months. Now we have a remedy. $2,500 in 5 days, or we're going to adopt it out to one of these do-gooders. We're going to give that money to our friends at Center Valley Vet that you didn't ask for the service, but we're forcing the service on you, and if you don't pay it, you can't have your family member, which is your dog, that you bought and raised, right, that's connected to your children and other dogs and people in your life, right? They just take it. They deem what it needs, health-wise, and then they make you pay the highest rates possible, right? Homeless extortion. Ridiculous, right? Alright, so I got a message from Michael today. Amazing. Amazing. Goddess has graced him with an incredible angel that is loaning him the money to get his dog. So he contacts his attorney. His attorney contacts Wendy, the officer. This is the way it was conveyed to me. So this is my understanding. I believe she was shocked because she didn't think he could come up with the money. Which means what? They're going to take the dog. Not only are they going to take his dog and destroy him, and he's depressed and all this stuff going on, but then after they take his dog, a month or two later, they're going to criminally charge him for all the stuff to do with the dog that he never gets back. This is sick. This is exposing the Jefferson County system, the Port Townsend system. not everyone, but the people involved in this. It's exposing what all of these do-gooders and nonprofits and let's make everybody good, they're not doing good. Okay, what they're doing, just like, what is that? Wearable art. We'll talk about that another time, but it's similar. That is just, that and this is a whole bunch of women, and then the men they drag in on it, to have a wearable art show, or to go and take somebody's dog. It's a do-gooder thing, right? And they spend more money creating it all. They don't really make the money to help people. I mean, they might get a couple thousand here or there, but I've talked to people on the inside of it. It's basically just to make people feel good. So you got a bunch of the Port Ludlow women, right? You got a bunch of the rich ladies that don't know what to do with themselves. So they're going to have some sort of a project, whether it's the wearable art show or taking some guy's dog. And it makes them feel better about themselves and life because they've done something good. And they don't look at the repercussions in the big picture. It doesn't matter. They feel good because they've saved this dog. And even though they know the story from my perspective, they don't value me, right? Because who am I? I've already admitted I'm homeless, so I'm, you know, what have I possibly got to say? You know, I don't know. So this is exposing how they treat homeless people, the conspiracy between the city, private prominent people, which we have the record from Wade Ranson or whatever, of all that, PDFs of all of that, and messages that he sent my friends. So we have records of the prominent people conspiring with, Port Townsend community page, Center Valley Vet, the city of Port Townsend Police, and the county. Okay? So, and I had sent in a sworn affidavit, completely ignored. But I have proof that they all received it. They all knew how to get a hold of Michael. They chose it. They didn't have any respect at all for me. I'm not a prominent person to them. I guess they value that on money and people being able to pay high taxes here. Not on human rights, civil rights. They act like they're a liberal Democrat community that cares about people. People first. Dogs, you know, mental health, but it's not true. And I say this in every video. Look, ReverendCrystalCox@gmail.com if you can't find the information on this. But there's some new affordable housing grant, right? They've already said in it, it's like 1.2 million or a million, that they can use $600,000 of it for a mental health facility, okay? So instead of housing people, they'll build a building that they can make money off of in the future, right? If they just house us, what good is that? So if they have a mental health facility, they can go get us in our tent, drag us down to an appointment, charge us hundreds of dollars an hour via our insurance, because there's good. Washington State has really good insurance for people that don't have any money. We can't use that insurance to get a house or to not freeze to death or to help save our family members or, you know, which in this case is the dog. But we could use it to pay a couple $100 an hour for a therapist. Mental health, we can get, what is it, I don't know, Prozac or any frickin' antidepressant, you name it. And then back out to our tents, right? Back out to our vehicles. So, to get a grant for affordable housing and say they can, or homeless, whatever, and they can use $600,000 of it, so most of it, to build a mental health facility, and you know they'll go over, they always do 2-3 times. How is that housing first? Because also, again, email me if you haven't seen their 10-year plan and 5-year plan and all their stuff claiming that they're embracing housing first programs. No, housing first programs are housing first, then you drag us down to your mental health facility to tell us how stupid we are, what's wrong with us, what our mother did to us, and all the reasons why we're homeless, instead of maybe just something happened and they could use some help. Maybe they could use some money or a home. Nope. We gotta dig deep and find out what's wrong with them. And we're gonna bill their insurance for years while they sleep outside. No money, 7 million, only cap, no money to help people like Michael. No money to help people in the cars. Just money to create more jobs and more mess. And don't even get me started on the cluster, whatever, at the fairgrounds. The authorities have made a mess of that. And by authorities, I don't mean the police. The police, again, I say in most every video, They answer to the prominent people as far as I could see. I've had wonderful experiences with most of the police. I now do have a police officer that I'm really questioning, which is Wendy Davis, her morals. She obviously did not follow the law, and the letter says it. She did not give him a remedy in a feasible amount of time. How? This is a slam dunk legal case. Any lawyer that wants to sue the city, message me, reverendcrystalcox@gmail.com. There is no way that she did what the letter said that the law said she was supposed to do. And so they're giving him 5 days, they're going to take the dog. Okay, so his attorney calls Officer Wendy, from what I've heard, and she's like, "Oh, well, there might be more money that's owed to Center Valley Vet, so let me check on that." Okay. I told him he should record calls because I don't know. We'll see what his attorney says. We'll see how we're going to prove this later. But if she indeed did say that, then she sent a legal letter and the laws that apply to that letter. Right? Then he complies. Finally, 3 months later, an extortion involved, I think. Gives him a remedy. It's so ridiculous. A homeless person could never reach it. Right? And he reaches it. Some sort of a gift from God. Right? Alone. And then they give him another hurdle to jump. Well, there's going to be more. But it wasn't in that first letter. Now, I'm not trying to be a lawyer, give legal advice, but I would say that's illegal too. So then they added more on to make it impossible for him to get the dog. What deal has she made with someone? Why are these people, is it the spirit animal woman? I mean, who's paying off who? Why is it so important to take this man's dog? I don't get it. Anyway, so that happened today. He got a gift from God, which is a loan from a saint. And his attorney called Officer Wendy, Port Townsend Police. Okay, we got the $2,500. Can we get the dog? Well, yeah. You're gonna. Well, there's probably gonna be more money for Center Valley Vet. So now they've disclosed where the dog is, right? And that there might be more money. Wasn't in the first letter. I love it. Every communication is going to be another $100,000 or $1 million for Michael and his kids, right? At some point. There's no way. How could this not be a slam dunk case? They violated his rights every way. But the bigger picture here than me or Michael is that we're giving visibility to something that all the homeless people experience here in Port Townsend and probably across Washington and probably across the United States. They don't have a voice. They are extorted. They are used. They have no rights. They're not listened to in court. They're a commodity for money, for the wages, for everybody involved in the system and more grant money. If you clean up all the homeless, then what are you going to do? How are you going to get all this grant money for them, right? There's places that would rather spend hundreds of thousands of dollars cleaning up homeless tents than to spend that to house them for 5 years. I mean, use your common sense. If you can't see that the homeless are a commodity for the system, then look deeper. Port Townsend is not a housing first community, and they don't plan to be. This was in the last month, the latest grant that they said they could use $600,000 of it for a mental health facility. How is that affordable housing? That's saying that you think we have a mental health issue because we don't have housing. Well, guess what? We don't. We just don't have housing. Hello. So that's the latest on the Michael story. Again, I could tell more stories of many dogs that I have seen. You park down there at the Maritime Center, and dogs are loose all the time. Not for long, but they're loose. The people on the boats, there's always some sort of a dog, and then those little cabins down there, people have dogs, and their dogs sometimes come out and be sniffing around at large. So this at large taking the dog was only for this guy. So there's discrimination, there's human rights violation, there's civil rights violations, and now in the last 48 hours, it seems to me, in my opinion, that this Officer Wendy has went a whole other level. Because she finally, after 3 months, gave him a legal written remedy, which that is not a feasible amount of time, no way. And then he says, okay, and then she gives him another hurdle. I don't think that that's going to play well in court. But who knows? Corruption, you know, poor Townsend's courts are not shiny clean. I've been to a few hearings, you know, where the abusers win, right? It's who you know and who you owe, right? The guy was a firefighter, right? So everybody banded up to protect him even though he was abusing his children. I don't get it. I don't get the whole deal. But total discrimination of whose dog gets to be taken when it's at large and whose don't. There's no reason they couldn't help this man. There's no reason the police couldn't have just said, you know what? We picked up your dog. You need to be more responsible. You know, maybe give him a $500 fine. Or let him work that off in jail 7 days, or maybe with community service. Or the $7 million of OLE caps, maybe they could do that. Maybe Center Valley Vet could donate to the homeless. You know, greed in the name of, we're saving the animals. We killed 100 people, but we got that one dog. What? Alright, so check in the description here, and you will find a link to porttownsendnews.blogspot.com. I put the updates and everything on the same blog post, and we're going to keep going with this. Michael's going to have Moses in a few days. Well, unless Officer Wendy keeps putting a wall in front of him, right? But each hurdle she gives him is, well, another $1 million in a legal case someday, right? It's ridiculous. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh my God, God sends him someone for $2,500 loan to save his dog. He might not kill himself after all. He might live. He might be happy. Oh, no, Officer Wendy's got some more bills at Center Valley Vet. Evil. 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 So, Center Valley Vet, extortion much? You all going to be exposed. You won't do this to other homeless people in the future.